Welcome back, YouTubers, to another ROH wrestling review with us, the British Fist. I'm Mr. Parkin, in my extremely tight shirt once again, and this guy sitting next to me, bowing down to you all like a Japanese emperor. It's NJ.
What's up?
Man, you'd make a good Japanese emperor, NJ. Imagine a Japanese emperor that goes, "What's up?" How fucking awesome that would be.
It would be so different for their culture.
Yeah, it'd be more interesting than anything ROH can do at the moment, put it that way. Make sure you guys subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts down in that comment section below on this ROH TV show.
And make sure you contact us in those links in the description box below.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, I just want to ask a quick question to you before we go on to this video. What is your level of general interest right now in ROH? Just on a scale of 1 to 10.
Not very high. Again, I'm not really good with the scale out of 10, but my interest is just not as high as it should be with the show that's mainly concentrating on wrestling. Yeah,
why do you think that is? Is it because of this pure concentration on wrestling, a lack of real storylines to look forward to, or characters? What's your general consensus?
My two problems with this is, one, we're getting matches that, one, I don't really care about, not actually going to lead anywhere, and two, there's wrestlers appearing that, for new fans, like ROH was meant to be about these TV shows, I'm just like, who's that?
Yeah, I think the thing is, I generally don't look forward to watching ROH every week. It's mainly because of the fact that, you know, they give us a main event, and that's really it, and they don't seem to give us too much. Especially considering they're trying to go towards newer fans, maybe the casual fans, maybe they're a bit disillusioned with WWE or TNA, maybe. They're trying to appeal to those kind of fans, but fans are going to watch this and they're just going to be bored because they're taking it way too seriously and the show's just not fun, is it?
And the horrible thing is, we praise ROH to the wrestling, but when they come to it, maybe the people who come to it just don't get it because obviously it's not showing what the fans want to see.
If you like wrestling, then this show is for you. But if you're more into storylines, characters, just genuine interest, non-wrestling related things, which do add to a wrestling product, then ROH I don't think is for you. But we're still going to watch it and review it anyway because we do want to give a very stubborn opinion on this, being more mainstream fans, I imagine, than ROH bots or whatever you want to call them. So we started this show off, second show after Final Battle. It's funny how Final Battle was like a month ago, 5 weeks ago now, and they're only in the second TV show, isn't it?
It is. It's like silly, you know, better ROH stuff.
We started off with a video package with Kevin Steen. The most interesting thing going on in ROH at the moment, this little video package of Final Battle was pretty short, and there's no realize we'll get more of those clips later on, which was kind of stupid.
They should have saved that for later and just got straight into the opener.
Yeah, the opener was a promo from Embassy Limited. Apparently, we've gone from the Embassy ran by Prince Nana. Now we're Embassy Limited, run by what's his name? R.D. Evans. It's like, I don't know why they're changing this, but they did the promo saying they're more about business, getting more competition for Ciampa. I'm not sure why they changed it, but at least they're changing up something about that group.
One, it could have just been kept the same. Two, they hyped up that he's undefeated and he's going to go on and stay that way because he's been for a year already.
Yeah, or whatever. I don't know how long he's been undefeated for, but you know, so after that we get the match between Tommaso Ciampa and TJ Perkins, and I think the whole storyline behind this was both these two are undefeated on TV. Who would come out on top? The man who is a typical ROH person who ROH have a fucking 1,000 of, or a guy in Tommaso Ciampa who does actually stand out with, you know, in ROH with his size and his undefeated streak and his style of wrestling, etc. And no guesses who won this one, Tommaso Ciampa. What did you think of this segment as a whole?
Okay, this match, again, it was an opener that had a meaning, because obviously the opening package gave this match meaning. It was an alright match for an opener, so I can't really say much about it apart from it was alright.
I'm not sure why R.D. Evans and Prince Nana are battling over the ownership of Ciampa when, you know, they're kind of in the same group. Ciampa obviously gets the win. He carries on his undefeated streak. We're always going to know this is going to happen. A couple of things about this match, though. I don't understand why it went 6 minutes. And the thing is, you've got Tommaso Ciampa and you've got TJ Perkins. Now, to me, TJ Perkins is one of those typical boring 5'11", 200-pound spot monkey guys. Well, you've got so many of them in ROH. Why don't you spotlight a guy like Tommaso Ciampa? And in this match, I didn't feel this really spotlighted Ciampa, apart from the very end when he kneed him a couple of times and won. That was my only issue. And the match went on, in my opinion, too long. And I don't like it when ROH do this. They could use the enhancement matches, but sometimes they're too competitive to really get a guy over. It really does very little for the guy who wins the match sometimes.
My debate with this is, I know what the commenters will probably say. We want matches to have a good amount of time. So with this getting 6 minutes, I think it was a good amount of time, but the quality of the match weren't as strong as it could have been with Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, okay. What was the next segment then? That was the opener. We get a nice, I don't know why we had it though, a heartfelt story of Grizzly Redwood, basically ROH's local jobber. Don't know what you want to call him, Eric Young 2.0, but I mean, it was a very heartfelt story. It's just that my issue with this is Grizzly Redwood is basically a jobber, and it's like, do we really want to hear a jobber's story? You know, why wasn't the focus here on Michael Elgin? This is what pisses me off. Just generally, I mean, give your thoughts.
Well, again, having that video package before, yes, it gave the next match some meaning, but at the same time, you're hyping up a guy that is not actually going to be something big in ROH. So
I mean, he's tiny.
well, that's not the point. And you're watching it, and you're hearing all this sob story, but his job is to obviously job in his next match. I just thought, why put us through that sorry video package and then this?
Now, it'd be interesting to get your opinions on this next segment. We get Grizzly Redwood versus Crowbar from WCW. Remember that guy? I don't know whether you do. But basically, we get that match. Truth Martini comes out before the match starts. You have the fans chanting, Willy Wonka. That was funny as hell. And basically, he gives Crowbar, or you know, I can't remember what his name was, Storm, $500 to allow Elgin into the match. Give me your opinions on it, and then I'll give mine. What did you think of it? Did you think it was stupid, or do you think it was something different and something good that ROH should use a bit more often?
Well, the way I see it is that, yes, they had a match set there between two wrestlers, a match that obviously we don't really care too much about, but at the same time, adding something different to it, you know, adding the guys who to watch out for, made this match interesting. Again, the money thing was stupid because obviously it's wrestling. They're offering money to get rid of someone. But overall, I think it was clever that they got the three main guys to watch out for involved in ROH show.
I will say this, to be honest with you, to me it was a bit of a change of pace. For such a serious wrestling show, to have Truth Martini, himself, an entertaining character, coming out and saying to Crowbar, you know, $500 to go and allow Elgin into the match. I just thought it was somewhat funny, but it's just something different, something a bit more fun, something that we could laugh at probably if it was done right. You know, so in the end we ended up getting Michael Elgin versus Grizzly Redwood, and I've already had the complaints about them not really focusing this segment on Michael Elgin, but again, Grizzly Redwood is like what, 5'5", and this match went on for 3.5 minutes. I'm like, God, I know to a lot of ROH fans out there, this is very short, and probably you don't like it. You probably didn't like that segment either because you thought it wasn't proper wrestling or whatever. But the match just went on too long. Grizzly Redwood's a tiny guy. Michael Elgin is a massive guy. He should be kicking this guy's ass in about 1 or 2 minutes maximum.
Well, the way I'm going to say this is that with the match, it looked a bit competitive, like they're both having their own spots, and I was a bit disappointed with that, but at the same time, I didn't really want, yes, it would have made more sense, but I didn't really want short match after short match. I wanted the match to get some amount of time, or we would have complained that they concentrated too much on the backstage stuff and video packages than the actual matches, so I'm glad they got some length.
Yeah, but what's more important, getting a guy like Michael Elgin over, or just giving us more wrestling on a TV show? That really is a fine line, but I feel what's more important is you've got to get this guy Michael, and it's not even like it went on for a long period of time anyway. It only went 3.5 minutes, so it's not like it could have gone on for longer. But if it went on for 6 minutes, it would have been even worse because Grizzly Redwood actually got offense in.
He did.
It's like, fucking hell, why is this guy getting offense in when Michael Elgin can squash him in like a bug in a minute? That's my complaint.
It was, but obviously after this match, in my opinion, ROH went downhill quite fast.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this match, you had... I just hate it when ROH do these really too long matches as squash matches. Just stupid, in my opinion. Doesn't help Michael Elgin get over at all. But anyway, after this, yeah, I mean, you had highlights from the Steen and Carino match at Final Battle, and that match was pretty good. The highlights weren't too long. It's just we had them as the opening package, and it was just like, we're seeing these again. You then cut to Kevin Steen in a cage, like as if he was in jail or something like that, talking about his TV appearance next week, talking about the lack of chaos and unpredictability in the show. And I was kind of like, oh, me and Kevin Steen can so relate, because this is exactly how I feel about the show. It's lacking something edgy. It's lacking something entertaining. It's too serious. Kevin Steen made a great point with, you know, Davey Richards being Jim Cornette's, you know, toy boy or whatever. ROH need this guy in there. Big time. Looking forward to next week.
But the way I see it is that, yes, he made some good points about this, but this is ROH's weak way of giving him actually appearance on TV without actually being there. It's a weak way. Just give him a video package.
Should have been on the first show, shouldn't he?
Yeah, and I'm thinking they're really teasing us, making us wait for something that they could benefit from now.
Yeah, and he talks about how he's going to win the ROH World title. Please let that happen at least Showdown in the Sun, or at least Best in the World. Please, ROH, just saying. And then for some reason we get Jim Cornette talking about how Kevin Steen is endangering people's welfare and he'll have a message for him next week. I'll give it this, though. I am really looking forward next week to Kevin Steen. Just going to say that.
As much as I'm looking forward to next week, it's a shame that they've made us wait 2 weeks for it to happen.
Yeah, and a lot of people could be bored with the TV show by then. But anyway, talking about going downhill, we had an Inside ROH segment. Usually these are bad enough as they are, but this one went on for way too long. Way too long. We'll go through what actually was in it. They're trying to start a feud between Eddie Edwards and Kyle O'Reilly. The only trouble with it is, it's very weak. It reminds me so much of the Eddie Edwards versus Davey Richards feud in the sense that it's just boring. Really is. And just the way they talk and the way they're just describing the feud. Yeah, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards had my back and then he didn't have my back. That means we must feud. It's just so typical ROH.
Well, all I'm going to say good about this is that they're giving Edwards a feud, giving him something to do while his old partners are doing stuff and feuding and matching and that. So it's giving him something to do, but again, it's not going to be the most exciting feud we're going to get.
They're both very boring and bland characters. I would have thought, just a quick thing here, I would have thought they'd be trying to get a feud for, I don't know, their world champion, Davey Richards. But no, that's not how ROH operate. Davey Richards is caught in the middle of this. Again, so he's going to help another storyline drag on while he's not getting a feud for himself. This segment of the show, this particular segment dragged on a lot, especially considering the fact that all the interviews that we're doing, Kyle O'Reilly, Eddie Edwards, and Davey Richards were just boring. I'm sorry, they're boring. They put me to sleep.
Yeah, again, with the Inside ROH, I'm not really a fan of it. Yes, it feels their time, but in this one particular, it gets a lot worse and longer.
Yeah, well, next week we're going to be getting Bennett versus Lethal with no time limits for the TV title. Don't know why you don't want to have that on one of your iPay-per-views. That kind of seems like the kind of match you'd have at your iPay-per-view. But I'm pleased that I'll be getting it on TV next week. Another main event match to look forward to. He goes on talking about Jay Lethal using an illegal move and all that kind of stuff. Bennett's pretty good on the mic. He's pretty entertaining.
I give it that. This is something that I'm looking forward to next week, so I'm glad they added this onto this show. World's
Greatest Tag Team want a rematch. They're going to, apparently, you had Charlie Huss going, we're getting the Bravados! Next week we're getting the Bravados! Oh, we're going to have something to say about this next week. Okay.
Yeah, they're hyping up next week, but again, with a tag team like that, again, they're appearing in a video package, but I guess you've got to give room for the other tag team, so...
Yeah. Also, we're going to get Young Bucks versus Briscoes. That's the first match announced for the 10th anniversary show. Kind of makes sense. Briscoes won the tag titles at the Final Battle, and Young Bucks won that #1 contendership gauntlet match, which went on for way too long. So that match is announced, and then we find out next week we're going to get an update on Rhett Titus' injury. Yay. They're actually really giving us a lot to look forward to on next week's show, aren't they?
They're hyping up, which is good, because obviously they're getting on with this week, and they're giving us stuff for next week to look forward to. So I guess I like that about ROH.
It's just a shame this segment just dragged on and on and on and put us to sleep. And really, it actually cluttered my enjoyment of the main event, because I was very bored, and I feel the length of this segment meant that the main event didn't last as long as it could have. And the main event really didn't get as much time as it should have, in my opinion.
No, when it comes to a main event, and with it being ROH's biggest thing on their show, the time is important, as well as the quality of the match.
Davey Richards is making an in-ring appearance, everybody! Yay! Yeah, it took until the third show last time for him to do that. Davey Richards and Kyle O'Reilly, a.k.a. Team Ambition, versus Coleman and Alexander. Caprice Coleman and Coleman Alexander. The match wasn't very long. It was only 8.5 minutes, which for a main event is pretty short. What did you think to this overall segment?
Okay, this main event I found a lot better than last week's. I got more into this match. I enjoyed how they all performed, especially Coleman and Alexander. They didn't do as bad as when they first started, when we first watched them. They have got better. And this match, again, the match was going well, but the commentary spoke a lot about Kevin Steen. And I was like, yes, that is going to be a future thing, which we concentrate on this match. But again, overall, I thought it was a good main event for the show.
I will say this, like I said before, I would have thought they'd want to establish a feud for Davey Richards, maybe, before putting him in a tag team with O'Reilly, but I couldn't look past that. The match itself had a lot of high spots. It was entertaining to watch, but, you know, when you expect different things from a tag match, like heel tactics, storytelling, there really wasn't any of that in this match, which is a little bit disappointing. just basic tag team basics there. But there was a lot of high spots in there, but that was it. It was just high spot, high spot, high spot, high spot. And this is one thing I don't like about ROH. I like the matches are entertaining, don't get me wrong, but there's no storytelling. It just lacks what we want, and it's just high spot, next high spot, let's get to the next high spot, another high spot, high spot, high spot.
Because that's the thing, when it comes to the main event, this is not actually going to lead anywhere apart from obviously getting them on TV and obviously you get the
Eddie Edwards
at the end and clapping hands. And I guess that's hyping up a little thing between those three, but overall the match I found good, but again, it didn't lead anywhere.
You get Kyle O'Reilly tapping out, making Coleman tap out. It's good they gave O'Reilly the win, especially when they need to make him look stronger. Again, I really wish they'd I really wish to do some. Really establish Richards and his feud, maybe going into Showdown in the Sun, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's just me being too mainstream for ROH. I don't know. But Eddie, like I said, Eddie Edwards comes out and does the sarcastic clap at the end, and I'm just like, is that how you're going to end the show? Sarcastic clap. Right. Okay. Such a great, high, fast-paced way to end the show, isn't it, MJ?
After the match, it was kind of disappointing they finished with that. Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of the show overall this week?
Okay, the first, up to the end of the Inside ROH, it had its good moments, like you had the three-guy, Choose Martini and all that getting involved. You had hype for next week, then the main event, but the rest of it, the matches just didn't excite me or get me any direction towards what's yet to come.
And I think that's a good example of the fact that we really want, to be honest with you, there's a lot of filler, but the filler isn't really accomplishing what it needs to accomplish, in my opinion. You know, we got like 20, I can't remember how much wrestling we got, about 15, 16, 17 minutes, which is a bit disappointing for ROH, because that is one of the reasons we do watch ROH, but it's also a weakness in the sense that they need to do other things. But this filler, oh my god, how much filler? And it's just the way it's done, and it's just so boring, and I just... Sorry if this is turning into a rant, but goddamn.
The matches we could have got tonight, if they had, let's say, a feud or a hype, the matches could have got better time. It could have made the show a bit more interesting than giving us these matches that we got tonight.
Yeah, I can appreciate the first two matches were done to get guys over, but I want to see these two guys. I want to see Michael Elgin, and I want to see Tommaso Ciampa in a feud with someone. Especially if you're going to try and get them over a bit more. There's only so much you can do with squash matches. The main event didn't get enough time, in my opinion. I really want to see what they're doing with Davey Richards and Kevin Steen. I think they'll probably show that next week. I really think that should be one of the first things they establish on their show with their World Championship, the most important belt they have, rather than a stupid Eddie Edwards Kyle O'Reilly feud, which to me is just going to be boring, guys. Just like the Davey Richards Eddie Edwards feud. The premise just sucks. Too much filler in the show, I think.
True, and all I can say is that I'm looking forward to next week, and hopefully it'll be a lot more better than this week.
Yeah, I hope that they'll give us a couple more storylines and stuff, because we do really need them in ROH at the moment. Just something to get us interested in the product, for fuck's sake. But anyway, that has been it from me, Mr. Parkin 01. Hope I didn't put anyone off with my monotonous ranting today, because I was not impressed with ROH. Get your thoughts down in that comment section below, of course, as you usually do. And NJ probably give you a more happier outro along with his what's up.
What's up? Okay, people, all I'm going to say now is that this show, again, for the last few weeks, I've not looked forward to ROH. Tell me what your thoughts are of these ROH shows in the comment section below. And that has been it from Mr. Parkin and me and Jay. Till next time, people. Goodbye.